안녕하세요. Welcome back to Korea Decoded. Colleen, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am great, thanks. We are back here for another story of Korean culture, one that is so opposite from Belgium. In Belgium, we have an expression that says, difficult is also possible. And and I found that to be exactly the opposite of in Korea when they go, 어려울 것 같아요.
What does
And
that mean?
well, that means it will be difficult.
It will be difficult. Yes. I always thought it meant it might be difficult, which in an indirect way for Korean is saying it will be difficult. I think. I think it will be
Yes.
difficult.
Right. And we take it at face value. And I thought, that's fine because difficult does not mean impossible. We still
Right.
have leeway in there. So my story is I was brave enough to participate in an event that was advertised as a hanbok fashion show open to Koreans and foreigners
Mhm.
naively thinking I would be one of many foreigners who would seize the opportunity to wear a hanbok and get their picture taken. I registered for the event. It was in my city where I was living at the time, Gwangju.
Mhm.
Um, Note, there's maybe 10 foreigners living there. But and I was, of course, the only one attending this event as a foreigner,
The only
much
one
to their
brave enough to wear a hanbok.
yes. And it was, you needed to have gone to the hairdresser, you needed the right hairstyle, it had quite a lot of prerequisites. Um, and so for this event, first of all, the shock was, wait a minute, why are you here? And I'm like, it said foreigners and
Yes.
Koreans, that's why I am here. And okay, but do you speak Korean? I said, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Then you can just join with the rest of them. And it went well. And I think because of I was outnumbered, I was selected to do the second round. And the second round was held in Seoul.
Mhm.
And that had a lot of instructions, and I needed to book a hotel for this, and it was an overnight stay and all that stuff. And
Wow,
then
it
after
got to be a
everything
big
was,
deal.
oh, absolutely, it grew bigger. It grew bigger than I could manage at some point, and this is where the story gets interesting. So I had to book a hotel in Seoul for this event, and then due to its large success, they had to change the venue. So they said, "Oh, sorry, all of you decided to show up for round two, so we can't hold it in Seoul anymore. We have to hold it in Incheon." So I had to
Oh,
then call the hotel and say, "Sorry, I need to cancel because I booked it for an event and now the venue has changed completely.
yeah.
Can't use the same hotel anymore. Please understand. This is another 이해해주세요, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, they're pretty good
Please
about
understand."
that. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, of course, the customer call center. I read in the fine print that it was going to be hard to cancel the booking, but
It's
I
going
thought,
to be
hey,
hard.
let me try anyway. And she kept going back to 어려울 것 같아요, and it was I had to make a quick decision, change the reservations. It was very time consuming, and so I just lost my sense of empathy for them, and I just went, you know what? I said, yes, but difficult is, I'm from Belgium. In Belgium, we say difficult is possible. And then she had to be blunt enough. She was trying to let me off as politely as she could. And I just wasn't having her beautiful language, her
Yes.
euphemisms. I was just kind of bouldering through, going, no, I need to get this refund because I'm going to be paying for another hotel in Incheon soon.
Yes.
And in the end, she just said, "Well, that's difficult." And I said, "Well, difficult is not possible. I'll wait. What do you need? Do you need time? Do you need more information from
Yes,
me?
right.
Just process the cancellation." She goes, "Well, no, that's not what I mean. I mean it's not possible." And I'm like, "Well, then please just say that and stop
Yes.
wasting my time.
Yes, exactly.
You're giving me false
Exactly.
hope."
Yes,
So
they do
yeah,
that a lot to be polite, but it's in the end it ends up being not rude, but it ends up being frustrating because you go around and
yes,
around and around in circles.
yeah, and time consuming, and I don't know. Their whole point of being polite is not to make the other one feel like an idiot, but at the
Right.
end you feel like an idiot anyway because you were not catching on to the nunchi quick enough.
Yes.
So yeah.
And for me, the opposite has happened numerous times where they've said, 어려웠어요. It's going to be difficult. Will be
Mhm.
difficult. And I just have stood there and smiled and waited like you did, basically.
Right.
But and then and I've said the same thing. No, it's possible. Or mostly I've just let them figure it out because in my experience, they always come to some kind of solution. So when
Yeah.
people say Koreans cannot think out of the box, it's totally untrue. So this is kind of a cute story. I was at the bank and I was with my, I think this was a long time ago, but I was with my ex-husband's bank book. He wanted me to do something at the bank with his bank book, and that was all fine. And she said, "This bank book you need a new bank book." She said, "But it's not yours. So what can I do?" So she said, "It's going to be difficult to me numerous times." And I just stood there and smiled and thought, "You'll figure out a way to make it possible." And then she said, "Oh, okay." So she cut out his signature from the old bank book and just glued it onto the new bank book. And that was the signature. So she found a way around the problem.
Right. And it was legally counted?
Well, this is a long time ago.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just, things like that. I can think of so many other situations where they have um, found a solution, even though they said it was impossible. Oh, this was
Yeah.
another story. Um, I I was driving in my car, and the police stopped me. And I thought, oh, why? Why are you stopping me? I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything. And the policeman said very nicely, "Did you not notice that you don't have a front license plate?" What? So I get out, and there's no license plate in the front of the car. And then he looked up the car number and he said, you have numerous parking tickets or something, something like that. Well, I had moved, I had changed
Mhm.
addresses, and all of
Right.
the old mail was going to the old place. So these bills
It
had
kept
piled
adding
up.
up.
And so what they do in Korea when that happens, somebody who works one of the little offices, the Myeon Samuso or the Dong Samuso, one of the district
Yeah.
offices, he came by early in the morning, took off my license plate, which means, you can't drive anymore.
Oh, but you had noticed.
I had noticed. I just got in the car and drove. And so the solution here was that the policeman said to me, you can pay for these right now. And I thought, but I don't have, there were no apps at the time, no telephone banking at the time. So how do I pay for this, right? And he thought outside the box. He said, "Okay, I'm going to take a picture of you and your car and your ID, and there's an ATM over there. You go over there, pay at the ATM, and then call me when you've paid." And I thought, that's so sweet. He trusted
Mm.
me. He thought outside the box. He thought, how can I make this faster, get it done faster, get her out of my hair?
Yeah.
And we went past. We moved past the it's impossible to possible. So I find it
Yeah.
happens a lot.
Yeah. And I don't know what the key is to unlock that. Is it insisting? Is it showing that you've given up and they want to give it one more try?
I've
Yeah.
always found it just not giving up, but it's more silence always works for me. Just sitting, giving them some time to think about it, process it, not
Yeah.
insisting, not repeating the same thing, just letting them figure it out. And
Yeah.
quite often they come to solutions that I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, for example, telling me to drive to the bank, give him a call when it's done, and that kind of thing. He found his own solution, which was pretty good, I think.
Yeah. I like how often it involves them trusting us, like your example shows. He trusted you enough to go to the bank. I had a similar occasion with a postman where I had shipped boxes and they would come to my house and pick them up. And I'd done this several times and it was always the same driver. So it felt like we knew each other. And one time I went over the weight limit and just by picking out the box, he kind of judged. He's like, I think you're over 30 kilos this time. I'm like, are you sure? I'm pretty sure I measured it and weighed it, but of course on my bathroom scale, I could be
Right.
off. So I said, so he says, all right. And he never printed the receipt on the spot. He's like, don't worry, I will take them back to the post office. I will measure them. I will stick the stickers on it. I had to trust him for that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just take a picture of the receipt. And don't worry, I've got your credit card number
Yes.
on my phone saved from last time. I'll just process it. And so we have this mutual trust of, yeah.
Yes.
Um, and it worked that way. And he called me one day. He says, yes, indeed, you were over the limit. I'm going to take something out. What can I take out of the box? I said, okay, there's 2 cookers with posters in there. You can take those out. It's like, okay, and I will keep them for you. I will keep them in my van. And next time you send a shipment, I will give them back to you. So he
Oh,
was
sweet.
holding on to my stuff for like a week or two. And yeah, it was this great mutual understanding. And I'm thinking, you can't have that relationship with any delivery man in Europe. I mean, I don't think you could. I would hope you would, but
Yeah, I don't
just
think you
thought,
can.
yeah, it's one of those only in Korea moments. And bless him,
Yes.
I probably don't even never know his first name, but there was a trust, and he knew, right? I was the white lady
Yes.
sending boxes to friends, but other than that, I didn't know anything about me. But we had a very good cooperation.
Yes. Yeah, I completely understand. I completely agree. There is that mutual trust, and Koreans tend to be very just kind people. And it's but I always hear that they are kinder to foreigners than they are to Koreans.
That is their charm. They all insist in giving Korea a positive image to the outside world.
Mhm.
And being a tourist in Europe, that's not a given anywhere else. And I think that's such a nice endeavor, like a nice effort to do, going, we want to show our best side to the country. Usually it's like, oh, these are tourists, let's trick them, or let's overpay
Overpriced
something.
things,
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So and that the genuinity in that is often showed because they have a lack of English. When we would ask for directions, and they'll think, okay, I know what you're asking, I know where I need to send you, but I have
Mhm.
no idea how to explain go left after 300 meters. So they go, follow me. And we're like,
Yes.
okay. And they'll
Yes.
walk all the way to your destination. And
Yes. I've had people
you're,
get in their car and say, follow me in my car, So
oh yeah.
yeah, so sweet. Yeah.
Yes. And then you think, I hope it's not out of their way. I hope they're not, on the way to something busy, or they've now missed their bus because of me, or
Yeah.
but yeah, they wouldn't just say no, or
Yeah.
they would just be like, I don't know, or yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because I always like to focus on the positive side of things. There's always a positive. Otherwise, I couldn't have lived here this long.
Right.
But for every time I think that there's somebody that goes out of their way to help me, there's also somebody who just puts up their hand and says, no, no English, no English, and walks away, kind of thing. But I've found, 99% of the people are just sweet, kind, and want to do their best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was like a regional thing, because I'd lived in Busan where people would walk out of their way for you. When I was in Korea when Incheon Airport opened for the first time. It was, all in preparation of the World Cup. I think
Yes. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. The
yeah,
smile campaign and all that.
right. And um so domestic flights weren't operating from Incheon back at the time, and nobody explained to us properly, going, well, you arrive in Incheon, but then you need to take the bus to Gimpo and then go from Gimpo to Kimhae, and that's how. And so, we were very, what we would say, dur de compreneur.
Yeah.
Took us a long time to figure that out. And so we were like, okay, we have a second ticket. It says Gimpo and not Incheon, and we're confused. And what do we do? And so the staff member, in his very well rehearsed English, was trying to explain it to us. And we're like, okay, we get it now. Thank you. And we said our thank yous and our goodbyes. And he still had like an extra question after that. And we're thinking, everything's been said and done. What else? We couldn't anticipate, or we couldn't guess what he was trying to say. And we're like, I'm sorry, can you say that again? And he said, did I answer your question? And we were just so blown away. We're like, wow, this is
Aw.
absolutely 6-star customer service. We're like, Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Sorry we can't give you
Yes.
anything. We're jet lagged and lost, but it was just, oh bless him. He was just trying so hard and then
Yes.
seeking the approval of, did I get it right?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was so yeah, we like customer service in Korea, and it makes you feel secure that you can rely on that. Because when
Mhm.
we first came, mobile phones were just being a thing in Korea, but not at all in Europe. And so we were always like, okay, when we would land, we'd have to call my dad and say we arrived, start leaving the house or something. And my mom's like, yeah, I'm not worried. Everybody in Korea has a mobile phone. You just bump into someone and say, here's Chonon, can I borrow your phone? And everybody's just like, of
Yes.
course you can. And so we're like, yeah,
Absolutely.
we don't have phones. We don't need phones. The entire country has a phone.
That's very true. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, wow. Good memories. Good memories. Well, thank
Right?
you for your
Yeah.
story.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. If yes, are you sure you want to stop me?